So I've almost finalised my project. I spent about another hour and a half on it. I'm trying to keep it well under the 15 hours allotted to this task. I'm going to do a commentary as I play through it. As you know, I lengthened the notes with the special inspector. And since I've last talked to you, I've put a harp in. I thought of replacing the dulcimer with a harp, but I don't think harps can really do trills. I looked it up on Google. I made these bars 9/8 instead of 6/8 so I could control the rhythm a little bit more. And I also put the last bit of the tune up the octave so that I could repeat it down the octave and it would be like descending into the underworld. And now we're up to this middle section, which I made super fast. I added some harp. I did more staccato and I changed it to C minor. So we start off in sort of C major, but it's really C mixolydian. And then I changed to C harmonic minor. We're descending into the underworld, and then we see the demons dancing really fast and evilly. Now, admittedly, this was a bit of a musical conceit because I just made the repeat of the last bit back into major and slowed it down, which was supposed to show that Orpheus was coming to beguile them with his harp. But since he hasn't actually started playing the harp yet, I took a little bit of license. And I put a nice legato version of that 7/8 melody in with some lovely harp strums. And then I did it again in the dulcimer, except now it's in E major, which, if you can remember from last year, is a mediant modulation. And I changed the tune from the violin over to the dulcimer, but I also changed the tune so it was more in 6/8. It wasn't sort of so uneven and jerky like 7/8. So that was meant to show the sort of calming influence of Orpheus's harp. And then we've got these two E major arpeggiated chords in the harp, and then we go into E minor for the final version of the song, the Seikolos melody. So this is effectively what's called tonic transformation, isn't it? Kapow. And now, you know, he's out of the underworld and he's going to spend his life, the rest of his life, alone. I originally would have liked to end up back in C minor, so I could have used the low C string of the cello, but I decided that I'd do E minor so that I could go from C major to E major to E minor, and it also was a nice bare sounding chord on the mandolin because it used the open E string. And I wasn't happy with the level of the spread of the final bar 48 mandolin. The arpeggios are quite quick, so I sort of wrote one out so that it would be really slow and sort of tied them all across, if that makes sense. So that's my final version. Well, not my final version, because I'm going to do a little bit of final exporting to Mixcraft. And there's a whole series of videos on exporting from Sibelius. You can do export to audio, you can export each instrument as MIDI, each staff as audio. I usually do all of those things so that I can go into Mixcraft and make some final adjustments, and sometimes also add a picture, because I've done a pretty good job of having a clean score but sometimes it's preferable, and it might be in this case, since we're using a story, to use some pictures. So I've been going online trying to collect some pictures of Orpheus and Eurydice, or Eurydice some people say. I might put them in Mixcraft, and I might even put some sound effects to make the devilish bits sound more evil.